The next panel is the legal responsibilities of brokers and legal responsibility of brokers and affiliates following recent regulatory changes. So basically, we've put this panel on as a follow-up to a webinar we did not long ago following the closure of Bank de Binary. As you may have seen, if you read our gaming business, obviously you covered it quite extensively. Bank de Binary decided to close operations completely, and following from that, we did a very popular webinar with Tal Ron, who went through the different issues associated with the vertical. So we're going to follow on again from that webinar. Tal Ron's going to introduce himself and is going to talk about the regulatory changes, the usual whys, wheres, whats, and hows of binary options, and then we'll have a discussion and Q&As. As ever, we have the system, Slido, so just log on slido.com, send in your questions, and we'll run through them at the end. But anyway, to start off with, Tal's going to present it, and then we'll have the discussion.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jake Pollard. I know when I have a session with Jake Pollard, I know that will be interesting, and I will enjoy it. And probably it's the 4th or 5th time that we do something together from Amsterdam 4 or 5 years ago. So thank you so much, and I have an honor to be here. I think that this year, it's amazing that it's open from outside. Last year it was like all closed, so I still hope that they can hear me. I think that Gil Winder from Compi can join us. Sit here near Tom John Light. I hope that you know who is this Tom John Light from SB Tech. We have here Yaron Mazor from Super Trader, Stephanie Atias from my team. I'm sure that other faces I will recognize, but I hope there is no one from the CFTC here, or from the, I don't know, but that's fine. We are now speaking about regulated, so regulated entities, regulated gaming, regulated binary and Forex. I'm Tal Ron from Tel Aviv, and I hope that you'll have an interesting time with me now. So, as Mr. Jake Pollard said, a few weeks ago, we did a webinar online in the IGB facilities. It was really popular, lots of questions from people, lots of confusion in the market, lots of confusion with what's going on. So we'll discuss some of the topics that we discussed then, and we'll try to make it as more interesting as we can do. Let's hope that the clicker works. My friend, the clicker is not really working. Can you help me with the clicker? Okay. What is happening in the global binary options regulation space? That's the first topic that we'll discuss today. How can binary brokers enter the Forex space and benefit from other options legally? Are affiliates liable to brokers' issues with traders? You'll see that some of these questions are not really clear-cut. Some of these have very sensitive answers. We'll speak about content and character affiliates and deceptive marketing. We'll speak about a guy called M. Fune. M. Fune was a guy who promoted himself as a millionaire in pajamas, someone that worked in McDonald's and then McDonald's and suddenly got rich quickly using binary options, only to discover that it was a scam. So that's M. Fune. We'll speak about some court rulings. We'll speak about affiliates, IBs. We'll speak about Vanuatu, Estonia, SciSec, and some very interesting according to the time that we will have here. So this is our firm. I'm Tal Ron. I'm the chairman of the firm. We're located in Tel Aviv. We have here Morris, also one of our clients from Amsterdam. And we take care of very specific niche markets. I don't want to do real estate law, and I'm not interested in doing torts. We're doing only online law. We're doing Forex and binary. We're doing adult entertainment. We are doing ad tech, affiliate marketing. That's the practice of law that I'm interested. I see here Ori and Guy from Panda. You can join us, my friends. Come join us. It's interesting. Panda, one of the leading platforms. You can join us here. Okay, so what is happening in the global binary options regulation space? The interesting thing to know about is that in May 2012, back then, Cyprus was one of the first jurisdictions to take binary options to announce it as a financial instrument. And we saw a very, very recent trend of people continuing to build themselves from the regulation in Cyprus. However, there is now the MiFID II, which the deadline to implement is in May 2018. There's a really big change. We see that now the Cypriot and other regulators as well see binary options as the black sheep. If once we were all being proud to say, listen, we're taking care of binary options, we see that there are lots of fraudsters getting into this industry and making this industry a really difficult place for decent people to work. So we see lots of drastic changes in SISIC leverage and bonus regulations. We see that the leverages that have once could be quite large are very drastically reduced. We see that if you have a bonus policy and you don't tell the client specifically how is he eligible to withdraw his funds, it's a really big problem with regulators and with SISIC specifically. Very interesting thing that we saw in Israel. Now, many of the people here, I'm sure that after English, probably the most popular language here in this hall is Hebrew. What happened in Israel is something very, very unique in the sense is that the regulator, the head of the Security and Exchange Commission in Israel, said that binary options will never be regulated as a financial instrument. And let me remind you something, in Europe, it is regulated as a financial instrument. There is some kind of exceptions, let's say in the Netherlands, where some regulator argued differently, and then the court forced him to understand that Netherlands is part of the EU, and binary options are a financial instrument. Yes, there are some countries that restrict advertisement, but again, MiFID is in Europe, and MiFID is MiFID. Israel is something else. In Israel, the regulator says that binary options is gambling. And because gambling is illegal in Israel, and will always be illegal in Israel there is no way to obtain a gambling license except if you're a monopoly, a state monopoly, Toto or Lotto, it will never be legal. So it's interesting to see the approach that happened in Israel. In Israel, there were recently a few arrests of people that actually approached the Israeli citizens with offerings of binary option. And there were arrests. Many of these people were released after they're on bail, but it's interesting to see the trend. Okay. So today, the MiFID license is the preferable choice of a premium license. You can get a MiFID license normally through Cyprus. Most of the brokers that want to be regulated in Europe take the tried and test solution, which is Cyprus. I think that most of the brokers that are regulated here in this hall are Cyprus regulated. However, you have a few brokers regulated in Greece. You can have in other places, you can theoretically be regulated in Estonia under MiFID, even though Estonia became a very other popular not to be regulated under MiFID, but to be regulated under a foreign exchange regulation, which is a difference. Malta is quite popular. It was, if in May 2012, Cyprus was the first to announce that binary options will be regulated under MiFID, in July 2012, Malta followed suit and said we're agreeing to the same notion. So Malta is again very, very similar in that notion. Malta is also very popular on the MGA front. We see here Aviv from Prime Gaming, another Israeli operation, they're regulated in Malta. And Malta became a very good choice for being regulated on the gaming front. But not many people know that Malta also offers regulation on non-gaming side. We have clients, binary.com, they're regulated there under the MGA, under the gaming license, and very interesting. And not many of the people here knows that abilities, so part of the knowledge is to get more ideas. What's going on in MiFID? So MiFID is quite standard. You need 300,000 euro available, which is actually 125,000 euro as the capital requirement, but that's not enough. People, the old people among us, remember that it was 200,000 euro in the past, but it was reduced to make it more popular. So it's now 125,000 euro as the capital requirement. So how come I'm stating here 300,000? Because it's not enough anymore. You need to show that you have enough capital for operating expenses. You need to show that you have enough money to contribute to the investment protection fund, which is a part of fund that it's like a collective fund to help people who lost money for binary or for Forex to return their money back. So it's interesting, that's all part of this 300,000 euro. can tell you that it's probably SciSec and Vanuatu became the two most popular licenses that we sell at our firm. The third is now the Estonian license. It's interesting because you need to show a presentable resume, a degree, and a clean past. If you open the Cyprus website, you can see that a few months ago, there's also, I'm seeing Nir Yafe also here. It's nice to see so many interesting people here in the crowd. Okay, more and more people come. It's interesting to know what happened in Cyprus. Someone placed a fake resume, placed a fake tax ID document, and what happened is that the Cyprus regulator, I don't know how he did, they realized that it was a fake document. And all the time people think that they can present whatever they want to any regulator. It was a fake CV with a fake diploma and a fake tax ID. That was an Israeli guy. His name now appears on the SciSec website, and he got a fine of 100,000 euro, and he is now prevented from applying again. Of course, that is not his only issue. It has now lots of criminal issues. So it's very, 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 very important to understand that you have to work decently and do it legal. So the good thing about the SciSec regulation, it gives you a good reputation. Again, if you can open some other press reports, they will tell you that SciSec maybe is not good enough. But at the end of the day, if you compare SciSec regulation and working unregulated, SciSec has a good reputation for protecting their customers. The good thing about it, that it enables you passporting almost automatically to other jurisdictions. It means that if I have a SciSec license, theoretically, I can approach clients in other 26 EU countries. Why I'm saying theoretically, I gave an example of what happened in the Netherlands, where theoretically it was available through MiFID, however, the local regulator thought otherwise. In other places, such as France and Belgium and other French-speaking places, the binary options, even though it, according to the official EU law, is available, there is a virtual ban on advertising those binary options. So we need to check it on a case-by-case basis in each place. Okay. Now, as I said, I mentioned one of the more popular choices here that some of the brokers have already on their website, because this license looks really, really, really cool. It's a yellow piece of paper with a stamp of the president or the prime minister or the minister of economic development of a republic in the Pacific, which is called Vanuatu. Okay? Now, this paper, it's not only a plain piece of paper. You actually go a regulation process. You need to fill in the forms. They actually check that you are working with a compliance officer. They check what type of business plan you do. It's important to understand that. But that become a very, very popular way to be a market maker. You can get a SDL license in Vanuatu. Security, it's called SDL. I don't know why, because I think it's in French. But the acronym is SDL, but the name is actually Dealers in Securities License, DSL. And you get it from Vanuatu. And it's very, very effective in the way that retention people love it. I know some PSPs like Solid Payments who can take this Vanuatu license, use it with a bank, and open you really, really good accounts. Again, it's not Europe. So some clients tell me, listen, Tal, please write me, after we obtained from the license in Vanuatu, they asked me a written legal opinion that they can work legally in the EU with a Vanuatu license. So of course, we cannot do that. Okay, we cannot give a legal opinion of something that we know it's false. However, on the practical side, you need to know that many PSPs actually take this Vanuatu license and start work with it. And it lowers the amount of the liability on the broker if it has some kind of license. Of course, having an EU license is the best. Another option is the Estonian currency exchange permit. Now, it's not a license. This is quite new. And I can tell you that most of the people who are working with it are still trying to understand exactly the way to work with it. because it's a solution that has been starting to be in effect only practically in January 2017. The idea is that we go to Estonia, we open a bank account in Estonia, ideally with an EU person, because Estonian banks not really like foreign residents. You open normally an account with an EU bank, then you apply for a tax ID, and that's about it for receiving settlements to this EU bank. Otherwise, you can sometimes they ask sometimes some banks for a rental contract in Tallinn. All of this can be obtainable. It's really nice. The minus side that you need to be physically in Tallinn. Whereas if you open a Marshall Island company or other solutions, you don't need to be physically present in the bank or in the place. Here, it's actually, that's part of the deal. You need to come to Tallinn, and that's part of the duties. Okay, so as I said, the best license for brokers working with EU countries is a CISIC license, and that's by far the best license. And even though its reputation has been hit by scandals like the Iron FX scandal and other political scandals, I think it's still the best license for binary and forex brokers, and I will explain. The idea is that you have 4 members of the board. Normally, we supply 2 members, which are external directors, and the client supplies 2. And if they're Israeli, normally one remains in Tel Aviv and one relocates to let's say, to Limassol. Limassol became a capital city of the forex and binary brokerage. So that's a very popular solution. But some clients still say, okay, but I need to open an office in Cyprus. I don't want to. I want to stay in London, I want to stay in Bulgaria, I want to stay in Tel Aviv. Again, you still need to do it. That's a thing that we need to remember. If you're going on a CISIC license, yes, you need to open a small operation in Cyprus. Yes, there are now questions that have been raised in the last weeks on the scale of outsourcing of personnel, because many of the brokers are working with a very thin management sitting in Cyprus, and all the sales and retention staff sitting in Bulgaria, which is inside the EU, or in Kiev, Tel Aviv, which is outside of the EU. And the approach of the regulators have been quite changing in the recent weeks. And we need to understand that this will continue to change, and people should adapt to that. However, there are solutions, because I know that effectively in May it should start, and this change. And there are so many people now going to CISIC and trying to negotiate these terms in order that the industry will continue. So people think that it won't be, this is not the last word said on this subject. Another thing that you should remember is that there was a fast track scheme, and this fast track scheme has been very, very popular. It was so popular that it actually over-flooded the CISIC with application. Why? Because of the cost. It costed only 5,000 euro. So imagine, the slow track was for 4 months until decision. The fast track was for 8 weeks until decision. We all know this industry, and this industry generates lots of revenues. So of course, brokers will prefer to pay 5,000 euro and get it fast. So we need to understand that it was quite a failure until since November, they just closed the fast track. And this January 2017, they multiplied it by 5. It means that for now, to get a fast track, you need to pay 25,000 euro to get it fast track. I can tell you also behind the scene that some companies are now speaking, Compic, this is guy from Compic. I can tell you that I heard from some service providers in the communication industry that supplies telemarketing systems and infrastructure, that there's now a trend to lobby that even this will be regulated. It means that there will be a standard that only companies that work with a standard of the recording, of the telephone dialers, of certain criteria will be allowed to work. Another standard that people are now sitting and speaking about is the stage name. I can tell you that I'm from 2003 in this industry. I'm a lawyer for 14 years. I started as a lawyer in banking, and now I do it for the last 14 years of Forex, gaming, and binary options. And I can tell you that part of my fascination that I was really, it was so weird for me, but now I'm really accustomed that almost everyone in this industry has a stage name. Okay, everyone has a stage name. Like Jake Pollard is a real name, but it's also, to me, it sounds like a stage name because I met Mark Smith, John Evans, lots of very nice stage names. So in this industry, part of the atmosphere is to have a stage name. It's not something which is unique, but in this industry, it's a stage name. Now, what happened is that in the recent circular, if you read in the last few weeks, the regulators do not like this tradition of stage names. And I'm sure that you know that many of these industry, you speak, if you're a broker, if you're a attention specialist, if you're a sales, first of all, I'm not saying about that you need to say that you're a portfolio management, because this is clearly illegal. But let's say that you're doing customer support, and your name is Yaron Mazor from Tel Aviv, okay? I'm not sure that Yaron Mazor from Tel Aviv will be happily want to know that a client from Abu Dhabi or Bahrain knows that he's Yaron Mazor in Tel Aviv. What did you say, sorry? Yaron Mazor says that he doesn't care because he uses his name. Yaron Mazor is on Super Trader TV. So they give like news for clients, and actually you're saying you're giving your name on TV? Okay, so he gives his name on TV, and he has also a news presenter on TV, which can be custom made. However, I can believe that also Oren Shabbat, people knew about him in Bank the Binary. Oren Shabbat, he had few names. Even here, there's like the Oren Loren. People knew him also. Very nice person. You can say wrong or right, but at the end of the day, Bank the Binary fired 300 people, and there are still people there. So I'm sure that there will be people who have been, hurt by some of the operations, but at the end of the day, there were 300 employees in Tel Aviv that were all now looking for a job now. At the end of the day, the idea of the stage name, I can tell you some of my clients how they overcome that. They use their first name, and the last name, they shorten it. Okay, they shorten it. So that can be part of a way to avoid using the real name. Okay, that's in Finance Magnets. We wrote, you can find it on Finance Magnets, but we wrote something very interesting on the affiliates, and I would like, we don't have lots of time left, we have 5-10 minutes, and we still want to do some Q&A session with Mr. Jake Pollard. So I would like to briefly skim about some very interesting topics. One of them is the M. Fune saga. So M. Fune saga is a very nice guy with a Bentley, gold-plated Bentley, which apparently he won it through binary options. He was working in McDonald's, and imagine, overnightly, he became rich. And he bought his Bentley, a golden-plated Bentley, because he won in binary options. That guy, not only this, that he was so successful in inventing his story that lots of tabloids in the UK picked up on his story, and everybody spoke about this story. And at the end of the day, he used that traffic and sold that traffic to binary options company. Soon, everybody spoke about how did he cheat this media. But it's very important to understand that some brokers that think that they can get traffic from whatever source, or from fraudsters, or from people that use deceptive advertising, and as long as they purchase the lead with full money and that money wasn't stolen, and that lead wasn't stolen, everything is okay, they don't know what they talk about. Because I was speaking in October in Bulgaria in a conference on gaming, and I met the regulator from Romania, and they're already regulating the affiliates. So I believe that the next big step in Romania, you pay 6,000 euro and you're a regulated affiliate. The next thing that I think that we'll speak here 1 year from now is regulation of affiliates, right or not, and how do we do it properly? Because at the end of the day, affiliates are liable to brokers' issues, and brokers are liable to affiliates. Why do affiliates need to be regulated? They don't handle wagers, they don't process payments, They don't hold player deposits. All they do is marketing. The logic, without affiliates, there wouldn't be an industry. There wouldn't be an industry. And so many chances they actually get a cut from the revenue. So this is why many think that affiliate should be regulated. I do not agree with this stance for sure, but I think that we all need to think about that notion. I had few cases last year where we represented affiliates, not in the financial industry, in other industries, on deceptive advertising. And there are few case law. One of the most famous case law is the Terra marketing case, where there was a guy working in Terra marketing and said, as seen on CNN, on all his promoted health. And the as seen on CNN was actually, he used the CNN.com website, bought some banners, and that was enough for him to say and to claim that his product was seen on CNN. Of course, he was sued by CNN, and the court rejected his claim. So all of this should be remembered. Another issue is those junkets. Junkets are the VIP people who are actually, the VIP people which are sent by people to land-based casinos. Lots of scandals now in Macau and in other places because of those junkets which actually act like physical affiliates. So part of the thing that should be done is a decent disclaimer. Okay, so some of the do's and don'ts, you should provide an affiliate disclaimer, you should have a limitation of liability, you should have secure data protocols, you shouldn't spam. I saw here a bulk email booth, so of course you can bulk email, but only if you get permission. And again, it's all risk assessment. If you're sending 1 million emails and get like 10 lawsuits for a few $1,000s, that's not a big deal. But if you do lots of spam, it's a problem. You have a problem. Another question is, even if you only own and run the call center, you're still exposed. It means that operators can come and say, you're not only a call center. You're not doing only marketing services. There are lots of new trends that are now being scrutinized. I see here the guys from Hello Group, Jesse from Hello Group, that now provides a new dimension of trading in diamonds. Now, trading in diamonds, so-called, it doesn't look like a Forex or binary, and it can be very interesting. However, diamonds in Israel are liable to other scrutiny, tax scrutiny, and in some places around the world, they are more subject to AML policies. So even that, there is no clear cut. However, it's still very interesting, and to check other options. So that is me. I hope that you enjoyed, and I want you to keep in touch with us. We have our booth there, P8, P9, just after the investing.com, so we have our booth. And in the last few minutes that we have, I'll really be happy to have Jake Pollard with me. And if you have any questions here in the website, not in the website, in the audience, normally there are lots of questions. When I speak in Tel Aviv, people raise their hand. Here you are very quiet. I hope that I wasn't boring, but really feel free. Okay, I have here Mr. Tom John Light, but let's, 1 second.
Okay, well, Tal, I'll just start with the first question. Tal, I mean, obviously, you're talking about liabilities and so on and so forth. In terms of Cyprus, I mean, do you feel that that's it? That the SciTech wave of binary options brokers is done now, and we're going to move on to something else, or is it going to be more regulated? Is it going to be less aggressive marketing, that kind of thing?
Well, it's a good question, and I don't know. In Hebrew, you say that who was granted to be the prophet? Only the fools can be prophets. I don't want to be a fool. However, I can tell you, I don't think that the Cyprus regulators will shoot themselves in the shoe or in the leg and kill the industry. If you go to Cyprus, you can see what happened because of the binary closure. Same as in Israel. If you would go to the My Mall Limassol, you could see lots of huge buses, all with the binary. There is the binary and the Forex industry in Cyprus. It's so part of the culture that I don't believe that the cyber regulator will just simply throw away the binary. However, Jake, I do think that will start to be much more aggressive in the terms of more fines, more compliance checks, no more monkeys. You cannot be a monkey director. If you're a director, if you're executive, if you're a general manager, you need to be fit and proper to run your business.
And your business has to run ethical business practices and so
Exactly. The key is to be ethical. You know, it's funny because we're speaking about Forex and binary, we have sports betting. Sports betting is different because in sports betting, the client do not assume all of them are them treating it as an investment. They know that they're gaming. They know that they're entering the casino, they have 99% to lose. In binary, in some cases, the client believes that, yeah, they're gonna be rich quick.
Yeah, but surely they believe that because the operator tells them that. That's the message the operator is selling.
The broker, yeah, you're right. Exactly what Jake say. Some brokers, not only the brokers, some affiliates that bring the traffic to the broker, say, yeah, you get a software. And in this software, you cannot lose. You get 4% profit a month. You get 10% profit a month. You can buy your grandma a flat after 5 months. That's the problem. I think that if these brokers will be a bit more reluctant in these marketing practices, all of the industry and all the brokers and all the service providers like us, we are lawyers, will get a great benefit of cleaning the industry. Because at the end of the day, if you see what's happened by following the bank the binary closure, you have more traders, you have more affiliates, you have no empty, more vacant positions at the end of the day. I think that at the end of the day, if people will take it as an opportunity, and of course it's not a good thing that the industry will start to cut jobs, etc. But at the end of the day, if there will be new advantages, if companies like Panda following suit by what Spot Option gives a regulatory umbrella, it's good. I see it from the amount of clients that actually are now going under the regulator umbrella. It's increasing and increasing. And of course, it's not good for everybody. Many people start on the unregulated or the lightly regulated. But at the end of the day, I think it's all in the right direction.
It's more long term. Yeah. Okay.
Long term, exactly. If someone gets into my office and wants to say, listen, I want to make $500,000.
Let's get some questions. Let's get some questions in. Tom, go on.
Hi, and also to respond to what you said, I'm Tom Light from SB Tech. I see a lot of these names that you've mentioned. They're coming to me now, telling me they want to invest in sports betting in a different approach not because different countries are making binary illegal, not because like in Japan or maybe the US they're changing it, but actually because of what the last thing you've said, because they're afraid that it's going to be regulated as gaming, which means that there's going to be tax, which will affect the profitability, and the marketing message will have to be controlled. It's not going to be an investment. The VIP business will be over. You're going to have to be able to enjoy our player value, which is about €200 per user per year, and not 50,000. How do you feel that this is going to change the industry in the next 2 or 3 years?
I think there will be more and more verticalization. It's a word, I don't know if it's a proper word in English. We'll see more and more verticals. And I see it's interesting, like, you know, a guy working in UFX is now working in SB Tech, okay? We see like all this industry, there are lots of changes in roles, okay? And you were beforehand, you were a startup you did something else as an affiliate, and then you made an exit of your affiliate business. We see lots of people that are doing lots of stuff. One has an ad network, the other has a broker. I have clients now that in the same call center, they use lottery, Forex, binary. Now they sell insurance.
Shut down the binary business?
I don't think that the binary options will be shut down. I know that many people, out of their own interest, want to shut down the binary. I don't think it will happen so soon. I think that there will be more diversification and verticalization. It means you'll have more flavors. If you see that's what's happening like with UFX there that have a booth, it's a London-based company. Part of their selling point is that you can be your own broker. You can go to there and you can see. You send traffic to them if you work properly and regulated, not if you're a fraudster. If you work with them, you send to them, you get a cut of the profits, and that's all according to the law.
Let's go on some more questions. Yeah?
It's a part of a question, and it's part things that we've been trying to do over the past 3 years in SuperTrader TV. I think that binary option is a great trading instrument. As a trader, more than 10 years in the market, binary option is a great instrument. Actually, as a trader, I have much better success rates in binary options, around 75% success over the past 3 years. So,
for yourself, for your own?
Yeah, as a super trader and myself, of course. But we've been trying to educate this industry over the past 3 years, and I couldn't do it because of these guys that were in competition with my activities, and I cannot.
So other affiliates or other brokers?
Other affiliates and other, we are educators.
Yeah.
And as an educator, my recognition as an instructor in this specific industry was not so. I didn't get any exposure because of people like
M-Fuel
and some other that have.
But I mean, it's interesting you say that, because I was just talking to another affiliate just before the panel who said, he gets, I don't know, let's say he makes 100,000 a month. He was saying his affiliate manager was telling him he was sending 300,000-400,000 euros a month to some affiliates, but he'd rather spend less money with a guy who's an educator who's more long term, and who will make sure, or try and make sure, the players don't lose everything too quickly.
Exactly.
So it's a different model. I mean, like you say, some people will go for the high volume, doesn't matter, let's get them in and out and turn over CPA.
Churn them.
Others will do the rev share. I mean,
correct. So I think that binary option as a trading instrument is not bad. Actually, it's very good, and we are not only engaged in the binary option arena, we are also working with Forex broker and US stock exchange brokerage firms. And I think that what is happening over the past 6 months for the binary option industry is a good process. And of course, there will be consolidation, and then new players, big players, will enter this market. I believe that this is a natural process. It's going to happen, and I truly hope that this is what is going to happen.
Some would say it's a necessary process. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we're already running late, so we have to call it a day. But obviously, Tal is around, so if you have any more questions, feel free to come up to him after this. Thanks very much, Tal Ron.
Thank you, my friend.